everybody. It's 6:08 p.m. I'd like to welcome you to our meeting tonight and ask you to silence your mobile devices. At this time, I'd ask the county manager to lead us in the invocation.
Thank you, Chair. Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you so very much for your many blessings. Lord, I just praise you for Lord, all you do to help us, Lord, in our daily walks, and Lord, just being there for us, Lord, being comfort in time of need. Lord, the storm has brought a lot of folks with severe need. Lord, I pray that you continue to just address those needs, and Lord, be with those folks who are still hurting and suffering. Lord, be with those folks up in Kentucky and Missouri that's lost their homes, and Lord, I just pray you give them just special comfort, Lord, and bring those folks in healing hands and help us to be your hands and feet, Lord. I just thank you for everything, Lord. I pray you be with each commissioner, Lord. They're here appointed by you, and Lord, to do your will. Lord, I thank you for that. Lord, may we just do things in a manner pleasing to you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Mr. Masters, if you'll read it to the pledge.
We just salute the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Would make yourself aware of the ethics and awareness of conflict of interest reminder. If anyone here has that, please let me know now. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda tonight?
Chair, we have an addition. I make a motion to add a closed session, general statute 143-318.11, attorney-client to item 16, moving adjournment to item 17.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With the changes to the agenda, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. We'll go on to the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion for the May 5th, 2025 regular session minutes?
Make a motion.
And do I have a second? I'll second it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed. The May 8th, 2025 and the May 13th, 2025 special session minutes. Do I have a motion to accept? I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And last, the May 5th, 2025 closed session minutes. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All, signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, do we have anyone wishing to make public comments tonight?
I
No.
do, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
If you'll come up to the podium, you'll be allowed 3 minutes
Yes, sir.
to make a
Thank you.
speech.
I don't really have a speech, I can do questions. My name is Paige, I'm actually not a resident in Mitchell County, I've been here as a volunteer since September 29th. I volunteered in a whole lot of counties, Mitchell, Yancey, Avery, Watauga. Not important, but I've kind of put my whole life aside in Virginia to come here and help the folks that have been forgotten. And I'm here tonight on behalf of all of those people. And I'm sorry, I'll try not to get emotional, but it's a lot. And there are a lot of people in this county especially that I am still finding that are in really bad shape. There are widows, there are elderly people, there are families, low-income poverty families who are living in homes that are uninhabitable. They are living in campers that they have no option of a place to tear down their home and rebuild. The PPDR program is fantastic, but it's not up and running. And these folks are making phone calls to find out when the debris can be removed so that they can rebuild their home. And they're being told that it's not going to happen until the middle of June. Well, we've already missed a lot of prime real estate in rebuilding if we're not going to be able to be demoing homes until June. So the clock is ticking on being able to help these folks. And I work with a lot of churches, I work with a lot of nonprofit organizations. I am just a little nobody, and I am currently serving 12 families in Mitchell County that have not gotten any resources from the federal, local, or state. They've either been denied by insurance or they are unable to navigate the system. A lot of the families that I'm serving here cannot read and write. They don't have internet access. So when the system is set up for them to apply online or sign an e-document, that doesn't work for these folks. So I've had a lot of people come into me, talk, both people that were helping and then the nonprofit organizations that are like, we really want to come talk at these meetings, but I'm either being told that they're scared of retaliation, I'm not sure from who or what, or that they feel like it's a moot point, so they're just not coming. So I just want to express my concern to you. I would like to have everyone's contact information so I can kind of boots on the ground, tell you what's happening back in these hollers, because I don't think you're aware. It's not that I don't think you care, but there are a lot of people back there that have been forgotten and they're not getting the help they need. And it's very difficult as a volunteer to even provide them with the resources they need. If I've got teams that can come tear down a house, but there's nowhere for us to put it. I mean, I had a lady this week that called the county and they told her to dig a hole and bury it. That's not an option for her because the tiny little plot that her home is on, they've got their temporary camper and we need to rebuild in that spot. So digging a hole and burying her home is not an option. So the other concern that I'm hearing from people is the town hall meeting that was scheduled for February 20th, and we're 3 months in and that has not been rescheduled. So I think your community would like an opportunity to speak to you, but they're not really sure how or when. So I'm not going to keep you. I just wanted to share that, and I'd like to have everybody's contact information if possible.
We'll stay to the end of the meeting. We'll get you the contact information.
I will. Thank you.
Would you like to ask county manager anything? We don't have to.
I can say a few things. We did actually reschedule that town hall meeting. It occurred in April, actually. I think. So we had some commissioners attended.
She and I both are.
And PPDR, we have submitted that to FEMA. We are waiting. We even checked today to see if FEMA is going to accept our, we send a batch to make sure they like how it is so they can reimburse our county. Our county is, as you can tell, we need that money reimbursed and done right, or we can't cover it with our fund balance. So we need FEMA to say, yes, we will reimburse for you. So we're waiting for that to come. We are doing right of way and waterway debris removal. And we do think PPDR is going to come around pretty soon. We've actually got the contractor in place waiting. So that is something you can do. And I know there's a few pieces of property that are very small. And if you do a demolition or you can't set to the side, that is a difficulty. We do have a vegetative debris yard here that's free of charge that people can bring things to. And as far as the C&D goes, it is a little bit more difficult because the landfill does have times where it's a little more difficult. We have a volunteer resource center. Stephanie Pittman runs that, and it's also a multi-agency resource center that is open on Wednesdays to where we bring case managers from the state to work with individuals and also help them with, if they're not getting it and they don't want to do the computer stuff, they can help them and kind of bring that forth. I'm also using some of our political folks to help on that, whether it's advocating for a bridge or a private road. We're getting ready to run those programs and get them going good. Our DSS is looking at some of the case management aspects of saying if someone is in a poverty situation and they got children that might be being neglected or they need assistance and things like that. We do have a lot of programs through there where they can come to help. I know there's a connotation like that, back in the storm, they said DSS was taking the kids. That was not in Mitchell County. We did not have that. Sometimes a lot of folks on the outside, when they come into our county, it may not be like their place they're used to seeing and living, but these folks here, we're related to a lot of these folks, and we do have a lot of fingers into this community to where, we are asking, say, hey, if you've got a dire need, we can help. We even have our emergency management going out into the groups, and in some cases, folks don't want to give us the information we need, and we try to get it from them in various means, and they're just not ready to provide it. And we do want help, and we do got things set up. Like I said, that volunteer resource center is one that we have open, and we have volunteer work orders that go out. So I would encourage you to, touch base with our volunteer resource center. Stephanie Pittman is our person over that.
Yes,
and
sir, I've got her contact.
She's, she runs a lot of the work orders and things on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ken. Okay, we'll move on to reports and presentation. And first up is, budget message and presentation. 25-26 by County Manager Alan Pruitt.
You're ahead up on the computer screen. Give me just a second here. You make a sleep on you. Okay, folks, today we're gonna read you the Mitchell County budget message. That's a part of our budget process that we do each year. And so, focus of the budget message is to kind of talk about the roadmap of where we're going with our budget this year. Our commissioners have worked hard and our finance office has worked hard to build out a budget. And it's a different kind of budget this year because of the storm. Got a lot of different expenses. So I'm going to present to you the Mitchell County budget message. It is as follows. On September 27th, 2024, Mitchell County was devastated by the most severe storm in North Carolina's history. Catastrophic flooding, landslides, and widespread tree damage resulted in tragic loss of life, significant property destruction, and the collapse of critical infrastructure. Our county was cut off from external support for days. Power outages affected the majority of residents for weeks, and access to water and sewer services remained disrupted for months. In the face of adversity, our emergency responders acted heroically, rescuing dozens from life-threatening situations, assisting search and rescue teams, managing traffic on hazardous roads, cutting trees, and conducting welfare checks. After the storm, our volunteer fire departments shifted to serve as community support hubs, distributing supplies and meals. As we faced one of the highest fire risks in the state, our volunteer firefighters stand ready. Mitchell County is appreciative of each volunteer's selfless service to our citizens. Mitchell County Commissioners realize the importance of providing our fire departments with much needed resources to combat an increased fire risk. In this new budget and effective July 1st, 2025, Mitchell County will increase the fire tax 1 cent per $100 valuation. The proceeds of this tax will go to each fire district to provide much needed equipment and resources for local volunteer fire departments. In accordance with North Carolina General Statute 159-11, it is my honor to present the fiscal year 25-26 proposed budget for Mitchell County to the Board of Commissioners and our esteemed citizens for their consideration. The balanced budget is mindful of future growth and has been meticulously crafted to meet the projected needs of all county operations, capital improvements, and statutory requirements. The proposed budget totals $28,160,596 with a fund balance appropriation of $2,271,173. This fund balance reflects some carryover funds of $734,174, thus leaving a true fund balance appropriation of $1,536,999, mainly due to expenses and reimbursements related to Tropical Storm Helene. The current 24-25 amended budget is at $38,581,599. Over $10 million reflected in the amended budget is storm related, such as FEMA expedited payments related to debris removal, insurance receipts, and storm response expenditures. With the fund balance appropriation of $2,271,173 taken into account, the proposed 25-26 budget balances with a tax rate of 56 cents per $100 valuation based on the current value of real personal and vehicle property. The property tax rate remains unchanged from last year. The proposed budget is based on a 97% tax collection rate with the 24-25 fiscal year collection rate at 97.19%. We feel this budget's collection rate of 97% is both conservative and attainable. Revenues from sales tax are budgeted at $5,141,388, the same as last year. Although the state predicts an overall sales tax growth in North Carolina of 2.8%, Mitchell County will budget for no growth and will base off last year's number. The revenue assumptions in this budget take into account that we are in a rebuild year due to the disaster. Mitchell County will have more expenditures due to storm costs and increased operational expenses. In relation to Tropical Storm Helene, the county will be paying storm-related expenses that will take several years for the federal and state reimbursements to occur. A good portion of the growth in expenses reflect increased citizen needs related to disaster recovery. Upgrades for emergency radio systems and repeaters on towers will allow communications to have radio backup in the event of another disaster. Repair of flood damaged water points will allow fire trucks to refill and fight fires. Excess silt removal from our streams will prevent future flooding. Debris removal from roadsides, waterways, and private property will bring safety and normalcy to citizens. For county departments, facilities housing the tax office, transportation, sheriff's office, recreation, emergency management, and maintenance were destroyed by flooding. Most of the facilities will eventually be reconstructed, but most are housed in temporary offices. Expenses will occur as the county rebuilds. The new sheriff's office was recently completed and a new county recreation facility is near completion. In addition, citizens will soon have access to a new license plate facility with staffing and space to get business done in a timely and customer-friendly environment. This much-needed growth will provide services to our citizens, but also incur additional expenses. With staffing and utilities factored in for new growth, with staffing and utilities factored in for new growth, the budget for county departments reflects a 3 to 5% growth factor. Outside agencies are also in the 3% inflationary range. Most of the growth in expenses reflect increased citizens' needs related to disaster recovery. Expenses should taper off next year as recovery progresses. The proposed 25-26 budget is balanced and prepared in accordance with the Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. The budget represents the first step in long-term countywide disaster recovery and sets the foundation for a brighter future. I would like to extend my gratitude to this Board of Commissioners for their diligence and valuable input into this proposed budget. I would also like to thank the Mitchell County Finance Department, consisting of Mavis Parsley and Allison Smith, with support from Deidre McKinney and Glenda Shuffler. Mavis's experience and insight has been essential throughout the budget process. The charts on the following pages provide an overview of revenues and expenditures in the 25-26 proposed budget. The full budget will be on display at the Mitchell County Administration Office, and the public hearing is scheduled during the regular commission meeting on June 2nd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. I encourage you to review the budget proposal in detail and provide your valuable input feedback. Want to jump down through here and give you a couple revenue highlights. Revenue highlights include the projected total revenue for the 25-26 proposed budget is $28,160,596. The property tax remains the same for the 24-25 proposed budget at 56 cents per $100 valuation. Fire tax will increase from 7 cents and 3.5 cents per $100 valuation to 8 cents and 4 cents per $100 valuation. Property tax collection rate is projected at 97%. Sales tax revenue is budgeted at last year's amount. So talking about expenses, expense highlight. Storm has created new expenses. Most will be reimbursed, but it may be in the next budget year or even further. Most county departments are budgeted with a 3 to 5% increase in line with the consumer price index. Outside agencies were budgeted close to last year's amounts. Capital expenses such as maintenance, utilities, equipment, vehicle replacement, and IT upgrades have been budgeted at fair market estimates. State retirement rates as well as property and liability insurance rates have increased. Final thing I'll talk to you in this budget message is related to the fire tax allocation. And the increase of the fire tax will result in a total of approximately $210,829.97, and it will go to the fire departments. In addition to what they already get, this extra tax will be the following amounts. Bakersville Fire Department will receive $34,678.59 extra. Ledger will receive $24,579 or $579.25 extra. Beulah will receive $13,334.51 extra. Fort Mountain will receive $21,569 extra. Bradshaw will receive $20,277 extra. Spruce Pine will receive $35,069. And Parkway will receive $61,321. Based on the 2022 average property value of $191,400, this change will result in an average annual increase of $19.14 per property owner. So if you own a house and it appraises for approximately $200,000, you're gonna pay $20 extra in taxes, but it will support the local volunteer fire departments, and we are on edge. Mitchell County is the highest fire risk in the Helene path. There is a lot of trees down, and we need folks equipped to respond to wildfires. This concludes the budget message along with the highlights of the budget for the commissioners to consider.
Hey, great job, guys. Thank you for your hard work. We'll move on to board reports. And I'm gonna go to the left first with Mr. Blevins.
Right. Freedom Lights. I'll begin with them first. Jeff and I did attend, and Linda Steffler also attended as well on May 20th. That was planning meeting number 2, which we began this time with the Mitchell County Freedom Lives bylaws. We began discussion also for the placement of the executive board, which this board will consist of several planning team members that are on the board now, a DSS representative, a HUD representative, NC Works representative, a DA's office representative, and pastor members from Mitchell County. The executive board will be formed and will begin on June 23rd. And then once the executive board is finished and assigned, the planning team will be dissolved. They will no longer be there because the executive board will take over all operations for Freedom Life. And of course, as with any board, all reentry teams will answer to the executive board. They're in the executive board, the way Danny put it, was kind of the gatekeeper of the Mitchell County reentry program. Also, they are the gatekeeper for the Mitchell County Freedom Life. And a quick timeline for you, so you guys will kind of know what's going on here in timeline. June, the executive board begins operation, which I just said, June 23rd. October of this year, full reentry council begins operations. This council is the Freedom Life and the local reentry council. November, Freedom Life will have an office secured in the Mitchell County area. And January 2026, the reentry coordinator, case manager from Mitchell County will be hired. And then February 2026, the community operations will begin their full operations with Freedom Life. And also attended, that kind of covers Freedom Life, animal shelter news, as they have a lot of things going on. They have had several large donations during the month of May, ranging from $1,000 to $5,000. Walmart giving them $1,000 donation for adoption preps. Also, in May, they're doing an ally racing with NASCAR. And Mitchell County Animal Shelter will receive $4,800. Their representative is Alex Bowman, who will be racing for Mitchell County Animal Shelter on the 26th in Charlotte. If he wins, Mitchell County Animal Shelter will get another large amount other than $4,800. And the big news from the animal shelter, and we're not going to give out names yet because it's just in the works right now, but it is happening. A person has become a donor, a large donor for Mitchell County Animal Rescue. At the present time, this donor has set aside $5,000 in an IRA for the animal shelter. He also is planning to donate the home and 106 acres in the Estito area to the animal shelter upon his passing. But for right now, the donor is interested in letting the Mitchell County Animal Shelter use the land that they may need for large animal rescues, such as horses, donkeys, whatever. So there will be more after the June board, after I attend the June board meeting. We'll have more on that, but that's really good news for the animal shelter as they're working on this right now. Upcoming events from the animal shelter. July 26th, they're having another fundraiser at Cross Street Ballroom. It's called Fur Ball. It's another fundraiser to bring people in and donors in. And of course, June 14th, if you are at the Alien Festival, stop by the Mitchell County Animal Rescue booth. Get lots of good information from them and from the people that work there. And also they will have items for your pets on sale that day as well.
Thank you, David. Mr. Pitt.
So mainly, we canceled this meeting, this May meeting due to the fact that we'd spent about 2.5 weeks out there, meeting about and interviewing all these candidates for president. So we didn't have a lot of business to discuss. Mayland had their graduation this past weekend, went really well. Like I said, we had selected a candidate for the president's position, and I believe there's an offer out there right now, and hopefully hear back from that this week. So more to come there. Main Street, I wasn't able to attend, but, my understanding is that they've got a grant, a revitalization grant that they're working to go after, so, Spencer's doing a lot of work to get all the stuff pulled together with that. I think he's got a small army helping him, so hopefully that'll come together. Vaya, we actually meet this coming Thursday, in Asheville. And JCPC, we actually meet tomorrow, so that's all the updates I've got. Busy week this week.
Ms. Harley.
I only have a couple of boards that have met since last time we met. Today, we had like a very lengthy discussion in reference to the chamber terminating their contract with the Parkway Visitor Center. The board had some clarifying questions that they asked Director Jones to reach out and to follow up at the next meeting. And so we did go ahead and schedule a special call meeting for June the 2nd at 1 o'clock, I think. Just to kind of navigate the conversation about the visitor center. But there was also lengthy discussion about the opportunity that has popped up for there to also be a visitor center on top of Run Mountain. And that would be exclusively for Mitchell County. They would not have to share with Tennessee. So that's all I got from TDA. And then I have a little bit of a update from the Association of County Commissioners. Lots of conversation this weekend in our board meeting, and one specifically that I wanted to make note to you guys that was discussed this morning at 9 a.m. So I haven't heard back to what the decision was, but it was in reference to the VIPER system. And so, as many of you know, it is presently funded through the state appropriations, but I want to say Friday or I think it was Friday, but I heard about it on Saturday, that there had been a proposal that would make the funding for the VIPER system come from our local Article 42 tax. And so, as we all know, like, that's a little bit of pot, because we did give a bunch to the school system. And so I hope that didn't come to fruition. There's several different other opportunities to pay for that, but it would really hurt us as far as our Article 42 budget is concerned.
Those radios are like, what, 20 grand or something a piece, or, I mean, they're really expensive.
I don't know, Mavis would be able to tell you probably a better number, Dale, but
$25 per radio. And then Mitchell County is forgiving 100 of those radios. We have like 688, I believe, in our last 911 communications meeting. There's 688, and they're $25 a year for our annual review, and the state forgives the county 800 of those radios. So you're talking about $14,700, I think, isn't that right, maybe something like that, from each year that has to be added to the budget. But I think, Harvey, and I did some research after you talked to me about that, and I'm trying to go back and look up here. I believe they are, as all votes this week are in the House. And once they pass that, then they're going to conference on this. And I think they voted Tuesday on something about what you were talking about. And that's as far as it's going right now.
so just something for us to be aware of, because that's another bill that we would have to pick up on a county level. That would be very, very pricey going into next fiscal year, or this, potentially this fiscal year next year. So, then just a fun fact that I thought was pretty interesting, the House has filed 1,011 bills. And the Senate has filed 765 bills. And so they're the ones for the Senate, 104 have passed the House, and for the bills that the House have filed, 264 have passed the Senate. 3 have already become law. And then Jeff, touching base on one that we had talked about, I know that we'd been a little bit concerned about it, but it was the Senate Bill 587 that you had mentioned last time. But there had been some revisions in there that does restore the ability for local governments to initiate downzoning in certain circumstances, so. That is all I've got, just those two. Okay.
And hardly that was talking about, I looked back up on my notes from the 911 communication, that's Senate Bill 257.
Okay, I couldn't remember what the number was, I just know that it was, a lot of people were not very happy this weekend to find that we may have to pay it out of it.
But y'all, talk to your representatives. You know,
Mr. Evans.
Yes, there is a fire association meeting since our last meeting, but we have one scheduled for Thursday. We have a Parks and Rec scheduled for the middle of summer. The chamber update I can speak on. We're gonna host a top to toe 5K with sports on Saturday, July 26th. They're gonna continue to host the North Carolina Mineral Gym Festival, July 31st through August 3rd. That'll be at the Three Peaks Enrichment Center. They'll have mine tours again and plans for other activities. Hardy pointed out the chamber voted unanimously at the April meeting to transition away from management of the visitor center. And the reason for that is for, I don't know, but going back to when I was on the chamber, probably 15 years ago, they'd always received the occupancy tax and use that money to try to manage the visitor center. But the TDA now receives that, and I think they're working on a plan. But the chamber board voted unanimously to not do that moving forward. The chamber's gonna be relocated to a new office space in downtown Spruce Pine, and hopefully being in by July 1st. Ivy Young, the senior at Mitchell High, was awarded the Shirley Heiss Memorial Scholarship. The chamber continues to have the monthly coffee and connect. And they also, I thought this was, I didn't attend this, but I thought this was neat. They coordinated a meeting with the Spruce Pine Main Street, Bama and TDA to discuss upcoming plans for the year and find ways to work together. And then very proud to announce that effective yesterday, Bill Slagle began his job as the EDC director for Mitchell County. And we have a meeting scheduled for the end of this month. He's got several projects that he'll update the board on, which I'll update you guys on after that meeting.
Thank you, Lee.
You guys had our meeting today.
He was there today. Well, they did a press release, I think last week, but I'm glad he was there today.
I think him and Kelly have hit the ground running, talking about all kinds of projects.
It'll be a good fit for the county. Okay, like Dale said, we went to the Freedom of Life meeting. He's giving you all the information. I think I'm gonna say, guys, that's a real thing. They back up what they say they're gonna do or are doing with factual numbers. I'm very excited that they are part of Mitchell County. We've got another meeting scheduled with Freedom of Life Thursday. And enjoy going to those meetings. I've never seen a group any more organized any time I've been associated with working with groups of people. Met with EMS on Monday along with Alan, county manager, and Dale Blevins. We'll have discussion on that, so I'll leave that discussion open for later. Last night, I went to the High Country Council of Government meeting. I've been to Boone twice in 24 hours, believe it or not. So I'm a little frazzled. The Governor's Crime Commission has got a program called Brian Jag Program. It'll come to the High Country Council of Government. That will assist, if you're awarded that will assist with Viper radios, body cameras for law enforcement, and car cameras. They've also been awarded a sum of money, and some of that money will come to Mitchell County for one of the resource groups that is helping rebuild homes. Don't know the amount of that money or when it will be released. And then Commerce, NC Commerce has a small business infrastructure grant program. It's a total of $55 million statewide. The maximum amount guaranteed is $1 million. The following are eligible to qualify for this grant. The qualifying infrastructure must serve one more business and must have been damaged by the storm and must be owned or maintained by the business. So who is eligible on water, sewer, gas, telecommunications, high-speed internet, electrical utility, sidewalk and curb infrastructure, and also may include planning, material, labor, and administration to complete this. Who is not eligible? Improvements to privately owned infrastructure, projects that can address building construction and land acquisition. So that may be something that the county wants to look at. And I guess get our name in the hat. Like I said, I've been in Boone twice in 24 hours. I met with the Blue Ridge Parkway officials along with state and federal officials today. We toured the damage on the parkway, 3 different sites. And thanks to Tom Tillis and Ted Budd, they got the ball moving, they got the appropriation done. There will be some paving that's gonna be done along the parkway that is not necessarily storm related. And Budd and Tillis have asked that that not be done this fall, because we've already lost one leaf season. So that was some good news. The discouraging news for Mitchell County. And I was taken back a little bit, expressed my displeasure. The work that is currently going on is from Blowing Rock to the Linville exit, where you come off of Grandfather Mountain. I asked a specific question, if that would include onto the visitor center, the little Switzerland area, and that is a no. That has not been bid yet. It will be coming up to bids this summer. Earliest projection date, if everything went according to plan, will be next summer, early fall. So that was a devastating news for our economy and people traveling the parkway to get them into our county, shop in our county, stay in our county. Also asked about possible detour signs directing them to come through our county, continue on through Yancey and Madison and pick the parkway back up on in Duncan County. That is really not an option right now. So brought you a little bit of good before I brought you the bad. So, and I'm glad that the Chamber, Main Street BAM and TDA have set up a working workshop, because I think those 4 agencies are going to be critical right now through the Christmas season, working together to figure out programs and advertising and events to what we can do to get people to come into our county, because I pointed out to the folks that were there, the devastation that had taken place in our county. It affected business population here, along with every other county. But what I pointed out to them, and it's factual research, that in a natural disaster like we've had, most small businesses will go out of business within 2 years. And that is, I know all of our businesses have tried hard. They're spending their own money, they borrowed money, the grants they have gotten have been local grants. And I also expressed my displeasure that Governor Cooper was here 7 days after the storm. Money had been appropriated out of Raleigh for assistance to businesses, and we've still not seen a dime, nor have we seen a dime of federal money to help support. We realize we're getting federal assistance through FEMA. We realize that's a slow process. As Alan stated, the county has to spend its own money at times to get reimbursement. So, just a tad bit of news and, man, I was frustrated. All the way on the drive back home, I was totally frustrated because I thought we were gonna be part of the repair. And we would be open in midsummer, so
I guess that's probably why they've not reached back out to Kelly and answered her question in her email.
they caught some flack from that today, Harley. From the majority of the people that were there, and there were representatives from Townsend County, from Allegheny, Ash, Boone, Avery. I represented Mitchell, was invited because the parkway does come through Mitchell. But there was a lot of discussion that there was very poor and lack of communication on the Forest Service side. And that is coming from, here again, federal government. It's not the folks that were there, they were the spokesmen, it was the people that make the laws and the roads, so. That's all I have, and we'll move on for items for discussion. EMS discussion. County manager.
Yes, sir, Sheriff. So, Mitchell County's been following. Today, we're gonna do some discussion about, what's going on with EMS. So, about a week or so ago, we were getting word that a new group was wanting to, purchase and or restructure with the business Mitchell Medics, which is our EMS base that the county contracts from, an entity that's a private entity through contract. And our staff that are the staff that was working for Mitchell Medics liked the idea of having a small business that they were working under that was very centralized on communication with their employees and very reasonable in how they would do things. The discussion came that a group by the name of Priority Services was looking to buy in to Mitchell Medics, and they would change the benefits, the financial management, HR, administrative. Looking at that and exploring that, we found that there were going to be some big changes for the employees, and we were hearing about this, and so the county did reach out to the owner of Mitchell Medics, of whom we contract with, Craig Sullivan, and we asked him about, what is going on here. And he did say, yes, Priority Services is looking at this, at purchasing in on the business or getting a share of the business. And basically at the first meeting, Commissioner Blevins and myself were asking some questions about it. And I think Commissioner Blevins said it best. Mitchell County is wanting to make sure those citizens working in the county are took care of. And as we discuss this, we're finding out that these folks that work in our EMS base that come out to our citizens and our folks here that are in distress with health issues and emergency situations, we're not seeing a majority that was for that. So as we went that route and had that conversation on Friday, we followed up with a meeting with the staff on Monday. So Commissioner Blevins, who is on the EMS peer review, and Commissioner Hardy, who's the chair of the commission board, and myself went to meet with staff at Mitchell Medics. And the staff were very concerned. It's their job, it's their livelihood, and it's restructuring with a large corporation coming in and changing the way operations run. So, we walked away from that saying, if you all are looking like you're having some heartburn about this, if you all are having some concerns about it, then we're going to take that back to this commission board for discussion. As I heard, the other counties were not very much in favor of Priority Services coming in to the medic bases. So this gentleman out of Boone, Craig Sullivan, has Watauga Medics, Mitchell Medics, Ash Medics, and Madison Medics. And as we went through, you know, the discussions with this service coming in and inserting into the EMS base, a larger corporation, the other counties did not seem to be very supportive of it as well. And from what I'm understanding is he has abandoned the idea of going with priority services. But, you know, the concern is that the impact it's had on his base here has been, you know, it's been very difficult for them. They're feeding their families. They're trying to provide services and they're not sure about their future. So I'll be honest with you, from what we've seen of this is a concern to us and we definitely are looking at everything. I'll say that and Commissioner Harding Chair, I'll leave it at that. That's kind of my update on what's going on and that'll be open for y'all from here.
Hey, I'm gonna open the floor up to this board for discussions, comments, questions. If you would like to, I will close this line item as we call it. So does any commissioner here have a comment that they would like to make at this point in time?
Whenever you got, it's a question, I guess, for Alan or Dale, in that first meeting when you met with Craig, was there any indication, based on our contract, they either we or him have to give 180-day notice? Was there any? Did he seem like he wanted to do that? Did he want to move forward?
Yes, based on that conversation, we did discuss a lot about a 180-day notice. Should the county decide to take that over, the contract basically says either party, if he wants to quit Mitchell County, he has to give us 180 days notice. If Mitchell County wants to pursue other options, we have to give him 180 days. And our contract also has the potential for buying those vehicles. So there was some discussion on that, but we were at the point on Friday, we were gathering information, asking specific questions, and not really going into a contract negotiation per se without the board's access and consensus.
But that notification would have to be written.
An official, probably a resolution or something, or we could go through four on that.
Yes, from the Board of Commissioners, it need to be a resolution. From Mr. Sullivan, it need to be in writing.
Anyone else?
I think Alan covered it. What we talked about Monday and what we discussed with him on Friday morning and you guys know our stand, where we stand right now, and my mind hasn't changed a bit yet, so.
You know, it's a sad day when you hear about this on Thursday afternoon, that it comes out on Facebook. And there'd been no notification to the commission board or to the county manager that this was taking place. Conversation probably took place with Priority and Craig at least 2 months ago. And we hear about it on Facebook. I don't do Facebook. But my son asked me what was going on. I said, well, I think everything's good. And I got a call from former commissioner Ron Grindstone. He said, Harding, what's going on? And I said, you tell me, I don't know anything. So that bothered me. Pretty much. At that point in time, their PR person had already come to our building, talked to our folks, and told them how the new system was going to work. There was no gray areas, black, white. This is how it is. Only 4 counties in North Carolina do private service. Guess who they are? Ash, Watauga, Mitchell, and Yancey. Or Madison, Mitchell. Guess who everybody else does a private run, county run organization. And in Boone today, while we're riding on the parkway, I just happened to be in the vehicle with a Watauga representative and an Ash representative. And, from my understanding, I think Dale and Alan were very polite Saturday. Or excuse me, Friday, when they had their conversation, because I think Ash was a little bit more vocal. Very much more vocal. They are not in favor of this at all. I don't know Madison's take on it. And, you know, Watauga's concerned. So I think we as commissioners, along with our finance team and our county manager, need to start having discussions and serious discussions. What we do and how we handle this, and this is only my comment. This is not a Board of Commissioners' opinion. I had supported this operation before they were hired, when lifeguard came in here. Dealt with a national EMS service, and it was terrible. And when we voted to hire them, I was the only commissioner at that time that voted no. When lifeguard was gone, we supported Mitchell Medics, Craig Salt. And I have stood behind that team since then. My confidence in that organization, not Mitchell Medics and the employees, but the leadership is now shaken, and I've lost my trust. So, guys, we've walked through a lot since September 27th. This is a conversation we need to take up immediately after we get information from our county staff and of course our attorney. So, you know, I'll leave my comments at that. You know, this has been a frustrating day with the parkway. And the frustration started Thursday afternoon for me at 6 o'clock when I got that information. So that's all. If we have no more comments or discussion, I'm going to go on to tax office, transportation, and sheriff building update. I'm going to leave that to Alan and Mavis. Mavis, if you have any information you would like to share with us.
I'll let Alan.
Yeah, she chime in.
It's just going downhill. I just.
We, our,
Yeah.
directly behind this building, beside the new rec center going up is our tax office, transportation and sheriff building. That was what it housed prior to Helene. That building, sustained, maybe about 18 inches of water on the transportation side. Maybe about 4 or 5 inches of water on the sheriff and maybe about 1 inch of water on the tax office side. We, were working to try to do some remediation on that building, and earlier in the year, there was discussion as to whether we do a demolition on that building or whether we, try to save it. So Mavis and I was trying to decompress our office because we have 2 agencies living here with us. We've moved the family in, you know, we've got them in the conference room and we're all getting along well, but we were trying to get their office back to where. Yeah, you got it. People elbow room.
Vacation, that's right.
Yeah, so, we were trying to get that building, repaired on a shoestring budget because we knew, you know, we're very aware of our cost situation. So, you know, board permitted us some grace to try to get that set up. Well, we had some findings come back on our mold reports. And so the mold issues, we went and got it remediated. It's been, sheetrock's been cut off at about the 4 foot level. We went in and took the furniture out, the floors, up down to the concrete slab. And, we did a testing after that and we still got mold, harmful mold. Our test didn't come back good. It's in the ventilation, it's in the ceiling tiles, it's in the insulation. So it's basically doubling our budget on fixing this up to the point that taking the insurance money we have, doing a demolition off there, doing some salvage off of it's probably gonna be the better use of taxpayer money and maybe resetting something up with the insurance funds that are residual to the, tear down on that is probably the better thing. Here's the reason why. So yeah, you can put double in it, but you're always gonna have that potential workers' comp claim of someone with compromised breathing working in that office. And if they find it's towards mold, the county's got some legal issues. So we're gonna kind of wash, Mavis and I are really entertaining the idea of advising this board that it might have more liability than it does to invest the extra amount in to get that open. And in relation to, the potential for future lawsuits, we're kind of entertaining the idea of doing a demolition on those buildings. So we're running that by the board. That's your update on that. So, we'll let you all think as you may. If you wanna give us some permission to move forward or explore salvage demolition, we'll be glad to do so for you.
Questions, comments?
I personally don't, if it's that far gone, I personally don't want any, if I wouldn't work in it, I don't expect anybody else to work in it. It's just kind of my stance on that, but then my next question, I guess, after that is, so. Are we gonna be doing an additional meeting to kind of figure out where we're gonna put these people? Or are we going to just add that to our next agenda? Is that like a big, long-term discussion conversation?
So I'll tell you kind of how it's working out. So of course, the sheriff's in their new office now. We're about a year out on transportation billing. We had a meeting today at the transportation tab and, site assessment and planning phase. We do got a grant on that transportation building. They got 10 sites. Site assessment will take till about March. So if, let's say in March, we got a building plan and we got some geotech going to look at the site and everything, then at best we can hope to start in April or May on a new transportation building and hope to finish up by maybe March of 2027. So that means transportation's with us for a while. Tax office, it's not got a home and, they'll be with us for a while. Eventually exploring the idea of leaving tax office on this side of this building and the county manager, finance, HR. You know, Steve, we'll just leave. We'll let them have the house.
So he was saying,
Let the neighbors have it.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was thinking.
So, you know, they pushed us on, no, we love them, we're having such a good time with our new office family, but we're thinking about trying to get Bowman up to, maybe hitting it out room by room and trying to do a gradual move over there. There is a big factor in here called money, and, we're gonna be needing to have some grant money to run some of this. So, if I was gonna give you my honest assessment of it, we're all in this big happy family together for probably another year. That's Clark Griswold, right? So.
Anybody else? Okay, guys, what I'd like to do, so we can get this ball moving and not drag it out an extra 2 weeks. I would like to give the county manager the consent to move on, to put out for bids, to remove, tear down, or salvage the building. And I would like to put that in form of a motion. And do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. We got the authority to
Reach
move
out
on.
to, DH Group, I got their contact stuff, but that's who we use down there at work, man, them dudes, you know, when it comes to demo, that's their baby.
Well, and one thing too on this building, Steve, you may have somebody out there, the I-beam steel is good, outside metal is good.
Yeah.
So there might be somebody out there that would want to come in and do the demo on that building of what needed to be demoed. To save the good stuff and put them a nice garage work building back up, so. That could be beneficial to an individual or a company, and it would be beneficial to the county as far as saving money for a complete tear down and removal. So. Hopefully somebody will look at that option. Okay, 11C, debris tech not to exceed increase county manager.
Yes, so we're always running these not to exceeds. As we clean out more debris, they instead of doing one big high not to exceed, they kind of step them, so they're always attainable. And they're always running with the project costs. So as I told you a couple months ago, we're gonna get these not to exceeds often. And as myself, Mavis and HGA, our disaster management, are monitoring these and monitoring the projected cost on debris cleanup, which, by the way, right away debris cleanup, the projected cost on that is gonna hold into about what the original estimate was, which is kind of amazing that somebody's November estimate would hold. It's gonna be about $20 to $22 million. So we're at about we're getting ready to hit the $10 million point on some of this when some of these invoices come in. So you'll see some NTEs coming from Debris Tech and Crowder Gulf. And as PPDR gets underway, you'll see some of those. So I would need a motion to approve the NTE from the board.
I'll entertain a motion to not to exceed. Make a motion. Second. All in favor? Thank you, guys. Okay. Your consent agenda is next. I'll need a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. And Ms. Mavis. Finance officers report.
I'll just stand here. I think you can hear me from here. A couple things with FEMA that we were just talking about. I'll update you. To date, we have received $10.6 million. Of course, most of that is for debris, 680,000 for some smaller projects that we had asked for reimbursement. Right now, we have several things in the pipeline, with the closest one being probably a $314,000 request that has made it from FEMA to the state, so now it's set in the state portal. But then we have probably another almost 600,000 sitting in the FEMA portal, waiting to go through their final approval processes. So it is a slow process. I was hoping to get this money moved and in before we close out the budget year, but some of that's gonna flow over into accounts receivable, I'm sure. With that being said, we answered a questionnaire this week. It's a survey done for the legislature. They're working on submitting things for the governor's next disaster program or whatever he's reviewing. And it was interesting because one of the questions they asked, which made us sit down and add up everything that we know about that's a project for FEMA. How much do we have still out there that we've not asked for yet, or that's, that we're waiting on to get? And it comes to like $44.5 million still yet out there that we've got to process and do the work and get the money back. So that's quite a bit. With the second thing of that being is we also got a questionnaire about, we got the first no interest cash flow loan from the state of 2.8 million. That was the first wave. The second wave is in process and they're working on that. I think it said they allocated $50 million. So they kind of asked us what we'd like to have. course, we asked for 10 million, so I don't know that we would get that out of 50 million, depends on how many other counties are asking for that money. And it could be if a lot of people are asking, maybe they'll increase that pot of money, I'm not sure. But we did put our request in for that. We've not heard anything about that second wave of cash flow loans. We're kind of waiting to see how that goes before we move further with the federal community disaster loan request. That one, I know, we're still kind of holding it to see if we wanna go forward with that loan or not. The other thing that I'm gonna mention is, after the TDA meeting today, I realized that we have a little bit of work to do on, of course, they're gonna do their budget presentation next month and the adoption of their budget, so I'm gonna have to work with Kelly some on her budget for next year. We thought we had it kind of nailed down and we need to make some changes. Another thing that I realized, and I'll probably do another budget amendment on June 2nd, include hers, because we need to do a budget amendment on her current budget so she can present it to her board at her meeting in June to meet her requirements. And if you remember, they're a separate entity with a separate audit, but they're also part of our budget and our audit. So I need to stay kind of one step ahead of her. So I'll probably do another budget amendment in June, and then we'll do our final one in June 30th, but I need to get hers done before her meeting on the 17th of June. So long story short, I'll have some more for you at the next meeting. But I'll keep you updated.
Thank you, Ms. Mr. Allen, you're up, county manager.
Yes, sir. I'll kind of be a little more brief today. Right now, we're working on an app for emergency management. And basically, it's a download to your phone that citizens will have, and it'll have push notifications. If severe weather's coming in, if you enable it, it'll pop a message out there. If we have certain roads closed off, if there's a forest fire in the county, this app that we're getting ready to move forward, probably come out in about July, will be a one source app that's not gonna bug you. It's only gonna be there for emergency. So we're gonna try to get as many citizens that's got smartphones to download this thing, because it's gonna give you specific information. If there's a tornado warning, if there's a severe thunderstorm warning, it'll give notifications on that. If there's an active shooter, if there is stuff in our county that impacts you, or if it's something in a neighboring county that is a major emergency that our emergency management, our fire, our law enforcement sees that needs to go out to our citizens, it is an instant notification system. So, you know, as a parent, I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna have everyone I know getting that, will download it on there. So that's one thing we got going on. Of course, right now, you can get on the Mitchell County NC.gov website and get on HyperReach. HyperReach is one of our notifications that sends you a text and an email, but it is a way to communicate on disasters. We have been doing some, getting some movement on the state doing the bridge programs. So when your bridge was washed out or your private roads washed out, the state of North Carolina, with the assistance of this funding that's come down through the state legislature and General Assembly, has finally got to where it's starting to make a movement. You know, about 4 months ago, around December, the money was allocated, and now it's finally making it into the program. They're gonna bring, basically, if your bridge is out, FEMA hasn't set up the individual assistance and you're not getting help, or if you don't have enough FEMA money, the state will come alongside of you on that to get that done. It is the state's gonna have a website where you turn in on. It's North Carolina Private Bridge and Roads, PBR. You can Google search that. We'll also have a link to that, I'm thinking, on our website. I know our David Bidding's supposed to get that on there. I'm thinking it's on there. I think I saw it, but that's something. If your bridge is still out, sign up for it. And they're also running that through some volunteer groups. So that state program is reaching out into some engineering. It's gonna be a full turnkey. It'll get you road. Also, we've got what they call, Emergency Watershed Program, EWP and NRCS. You have a home and the bank is chopped off near your home. Your critical infrastructure is threatened. So a lot of our folks live by a creek and they've got erosion from the creek all the way up to the edge of their home. You need to get on that list for EWP, and I think we're gonna have that, on our website going active tomorrow. David's working on that today. These are two new programs that have been rolled out, and they are combining with FEMA. As our public speaker today said, FEMA's running slow. Sometimes FEMA is getting too difficult for our folks. Try this private bridge program. Definitely, check with our volunteer resource center. You know, that's something on Wednesdays, we are having some folks out there that do some case management that we can get some assistance with. If someone needs assistance and they need that help, reach out to our volunteer resource. It's volunteermitchell@gmail.com, 828-660-0818. Also, you can email me, manager@mitchellcountync.gov. I will forward that, or I'll get you private bridge links, EWP, emergency watershed links to get you signed up. So, I will do that. So my email, manager@mitchellcountync.gov. Also talk to that volunteer resource center. The volunteer resource center is a place where our volunteer groups can get together. And our long-term disaster recovery group who spoke at our meeting is able to tentacle out through a lot of local contacts to get these volunteer groups that are maybe from not in the area into the right areas to get some of those folks that have been asking for help. So we definitely want to see that moving on. There's some hope on that. I know the bridge stuff's been moving slow. Let me know if you're watching this on the live stream and your bridge isn't getting any traction. Email me. The calling is a little harder in the course of the day because I'm backed up so much in email. I can check at 10 o'clock at night and forward you stuff. I don't want to call you back at 10 o'clock at night. So get with me. I'm gonna get you the resources. I'll link you up to even the political side of it to get you leverage if you've not been having movement. Ted Budd's office, Chuck Edwards' office, Grow NC, the governor's office. They've all been ones to leverage on case management when things aren't getting done. So, that's my county manager's report for today.
Board comments, Mr. Blevins.
Okay. I'll say since last Tuesday, it's been a really busy week. We've had a lot on our plates. You know, it's been a busy week, but it's also been a frustrating week. Mainly on my point of view being, I don't like seeing people upset with uncertainty. I just don't like it. It's not right. It's not Mitchell County, if I may say that right now. So in the long run, I know that each and every one of us sitting up here, we will do what is right for the county. We will do what is best for our people. And in my beliefs, I believe that we will come out on top when we make our decisions.
Mr. Pitt.
I think, yeah, I agree with you, Darryl. Thank you for saying that. It's very, very frustrating when you get information from the most trusted news source in the world, Facebook. You would think if you talk to anybody, they seem to have a lot of confidence in it. Luckily, most people dig deep in there and figure out that's usually not, well, let's say not most. I won't put a percentage to that, but a lot of people, I think, get past the Facebook part. But, you know, it's really frustrating when you have a good group of folks like your team at Mitchell Medics and the work you guys do. And I mean, I have a lot of people have, you know, I've been on this board now for 6 years. 7 years, I guess. 7 years. And you know, we went through the deal when we lost. We had a really awesome service through Mission, back when Mission was Mission, not HCA. Of course, we lost that. We went through the life AMR, lifeguard, debacle. And then, we landed with Mitchell Medics and, it's a pretty big task, because they were, at that point, I think they were only in maybe one or two counties. I don't think they were in the full, maybe action.
Madison beat us to the punch.
Yeah,
So we were on.
yeah. So it's a little unknown there for us to jump into that, but I gotta say, you guys have been amazing. I don't know each of you individually. But I have a lot of good compliments about what you guys do, and I'm very sorry that you guys found out by somebody showing up in your building and wandering around and asking questions and putting you guys on edge when nothing has actually been, had actually been, had been finalized or talked about or whatever. So, that's not the way this board does business. And we're not gonna put up with that. So appreciate you guys being patient, and we'll get this figured out and have confidence that we've got you back. Last thing we want is to lose, the momentum we've had, and especially this BS with changing benefits and all that stuff, because we pay for it, and we know what we asked for. So just hang with us.
Yeah, I just go along with the previous two commissioners and say, from what I was told by these folks, sounds like, I've been through a few mergers and acquisitions, and sounds like a pretty good example of how not to do it to me. Letting y'all find out, or letting us find out that way. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth. Know this, I think, I try not to speak for anybody else, especially people who've been elected, but I think I can say this. We want to take care of the people that are taking care of our people. And so know that we are committed to taking care of y'all because of the job that you do for citizens. I also want to thank everybody that I worked with. I was gone last week when all that was when all that was going on.
We blamed you for all of it.
Okay.
That's the
way it goes.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, but I appreciate everybody I worked with on the commission board and the county employees as well. And thank y'all for being here tonight.
Yes, Arlie.
I just want to say, I appreciate you guys coming, and I appreciate that you guys have enough confidence in this board to reach out with concerns. Instead of just going straight to Facebook. People that were going straight to Facebook, it wasn't you guys, and I appreciate that. But I think that bodes well with this board and the confidence that I hope that you guys have in this board. But I will leave it at that, because you guys said it a lot nicer than the words I was trying to articulate.
Tried to avoid.
You guys, Bill and Steve and Lee, you said it much better than I did. So.
First of all, Mavis, your team, all the work you've done on, pulling this budget together on with Alan. Glenda had a hand on it. David was a great help. It's not like you didn't have anything going on in your office. So, great job. I think the budget turned out better than we anticipated. You guys in the back, thank you for being here. We have confidence in you. Be patient. Have confidence in us. We will address this situation seriously. We know what we have and the team. And we know our people are taken care of. And that's all that matters. So thank you for what you do. And keep up the good work. So at this time, I'm going to entertain a motion during the closed session under 143, 318, 11A3, attorney-client privilege. Do I have a motion? Make a motion. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. The board will stay, the attorney will stay, the clerk will stay, and Davis will stay. And, does anybody need a